Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. I'm Jack Leary. I'm the chairperson of the Chartered Clubs Committee. This is the April 2nd, 2024 meeting, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you're able to stand, please join me. Thank you. Okay, we have a quorum. We have one committee member absent. She has an excused absence. But we do have a quorum here. The first order of business is to approve the meeting minutes of March 5th. Do I hear any changes, additions, deletions? Okay, seeing none, they will be filed as written. We'll jump right into our liaison reports, and I think what I'm looking for is anything that has changed since last month. So we can just keep it to the changes. That would be great. And I'll start down there with Carol.
Vicki and I have been working together through this past year with our clubs, and I think she has the latest and greatest.
I do have the latest and greatest. All seems to be very happy in Hobbyland. I am happy to report. We have met with all of our clubs, our club boards, and made them completely aware of what our function is as liaison. And we've also gotten a few requests by email. They had questions and was wondering if we knew the answer. And on one of them, my response was, offhand, I don't know, but as soon as I find out, I will get back to you and let you know. So we've really stressed that, we're the first stop if they have any questions, and we will do our best to answer those questions for them. We saw our last two this week, one of which was the Rockhounds West, and I wish I had been young enough to go to Happy Camp, because when I asked them what they did at Happy Camp and I listened to their explanation, I was like, I would have loved to have been there. And the other that we met with was the Model Railroad Club. And if you haven't been there with, I think it's the G scale that it's at Beardsley at the end of the parking lot, you will be amazed if you go to visit. And if you have grandkids that are the slightest bit interested in trains, by all means take them, because they have Thomas the Tank Engine there, and my 4-year-old grandson is in love with him. So there you go. That's it. Thank you.
I want to just add something to what Vicki said. The people of the Railroad Club did a phenomenal job with decorating and setting up for kiddies for the Easter holiday. I know I brought little ones over there, and it was amazing in itself, but then the extra time and effort they put into it for the kids was just, they deserve a shout out for that. They did a really good job.
Okay, thank you, Vicki and Carol. Nick, do you have anything to report?
Yes, I just want to mention 4 clubs who I know have been doing some raising of money for charities recently, and some other work. First off, cycling did some packaging of meals for the food bank at the Lord of Life Church, and they're also collecting money and/or bicycles for kids, which is something that they do and give them away every fall. And at the moment, they've got 20 bikes. They're looking for another 20 bikes, but they're also looking for storage space. So I know that the recreation centres can't help them at the moment, but if anybody can help them out or has any ideas, they would welcome that. The tennis club just finished their Swing into Spring tournament. I'm told there's 124 players, 123 matches, 2,064 games of tennis. Total amounts are still to be calculated, but there'll be at least $2,500 going to the posse and at least $2,500 going to the prides. You may have mentioned a few months ago, I gave them a shout out amongst which was PASS, the Program for After School Success that the US Tennis Association organizes and that the tennis club here takes part in. You may be interested to know that, well, they donated a further $700 to that, but you may be interested to know that 4 of the students that came here to play tennis with the tennis club here have received academic scholarships, and 3 of them are going to ASU and 1 of them is going to MIT. All of them first in their family to go to university, so that's a good thing as well, and that sounds like a really good program. Softball raised $2,300 for cardiac kids, and also $6,155 in food, gift cards, and cash for West Valley Food Bank. And as we said last time, fun in the sun with pickleball. Everybody was proudly, saying how they'd just raised over $50,000. They actually raised over $60,000 once the totals came in. And that's going to Helping Hands, the Posse, Pride's Community Fund of Sound City West, PORA, Northwest Valley Connect, and also the Arizona Fire and Medical Authority charity. And in addition, they've also raised $5,435 and 1,300 pounds worth of food in a food drive. And there may be other clubs out there and the sports clubs that I look after who have been making donations. So let me know and we'll give you guys a shout out as well.
That's great, thank you. It's wonderful to hear clubs doing that. Connie, do you have anything to report?
I've made a few rounds, but nothing new. Although I have 2 of my clubs sitting right in front of me. I haven't talked to you for a while, so if you have, so if you have anything like that, please speak up. This is Zymergy and Boomers. I had mentioned donations before. Anything new? Oh, I'm sorry, Pam. That's Boomers.
Pam Keiss, 401-402, President of the Boomers. On March 26th, the Women's Club and the Boomers had a pancake breakfast for the Posse, Prides, and the firemen, and we served probably about 180 people. We started it back up last year. They stopped it when COVID came, and it's a nice event, and they appreciate it, and we appreciate them because they're what makes this community.
Thank you for doing my report. Yeah.
I'm going to skip over to Judy because Judy and Kathy are going to tag team.
Okay.
Right.
Hi, everybody. A couple of weeks ago, Arts and Crafts and Card Clubs held a 2-hour session with our clubs together, and it worked out pretty well. Together, we have 29 clubs, and 20 of them were represented at this 2-hour meeting. And so I'm just going to give you a short and sweet summary of what we discussed. First of all, we gave a lot of chartered club updates. We used that as an opportunity, as long as everybody was together, to talk about like Casey's reports, updating your bylaws, making sure your websites are updated, those kinds of things. Then we had questions and sharing, and we asked them what they do to maintain their membership. And besides just the regular things of putting information on bulletin boards or in the Independent and Rec News, we were very interested that a lot of these clubs use the library. And if you haven't thought about that, it might be something you want to consider. They've used it to give classes and demonstrations, and as a result of that, they've been able to increase their memberships. So something to consider. The other thing along that line is flyers outside their doors. I know not all clubs have a plastic space outside their doors, but it was one thing they brought up that they almost wish they had, so that people could come along and pick up a flyer if need be. We asked them how we as liaisons could help them, and basically it's just communication, visiting when we can, and making sure that we check with them about updates that are needed so that they're reminded when things are due. We asked them about examples of clubs' best practice and further sharing. And before I even go farther, I want to say that we had the room for 2 hours, and we said that after an hour and a half, we thought they would probably be walking out the door about then. At an hour and a half, they were still talking. And this was one of the topics that they like to talk about a lot. They did share what they were doing for charitable organizations. We have big clubs included here and small clubs included here. And I'll just give a shout out to one small club, Mahjong, who, you know, they don't raise money particularly, but they have to order cards every year to play with. If they order those in bulk, they're able to give back to the community. And they were able to give back $1,000 to the posse just by thinking out of the box and ordering cards in a group situation. So even small clubs are thinking about what they can do to give back. We asked for examples of best practice, and of course they went around the room with some really cool ideas. Interestingly enough, torch was talked about quite a bit, and I thought that was very, very interesting, and we were able to let them know too that that might be an opportunity they want to seek out in the future to increase their knowledge of the community. Some clubs even include the torch pamphlet when they're handing out information to new members. So that's something you clubs might want to consider also. Concerns and input, obviously getting new officers always comes up. Tours, they wondered if tours could be maybe rotated because not every club meets every day, and so there might be not an opportunity for them to be in their club at the time that the tours come by. Club track basically was not even brought up very much this time, and it was a huge topic of conversation last October. We talked about websites. Not every club has the opportunity or has the expertise to update their websites, and they were able to share. Some were very knowledgeable and some weren't, on ways that they could do that and making sure they reach out if they need help. Let's see, and I think that's it from the high level point of view, but I did want to say that it was really wonderful to see how upbeat and excited these groups were about their clubs and basically how well they seem to be running right now. It was just very refreshing to have that conversation. Go ahead, Kath.
It was. Thank you, Judy. One of the other things that we did at Silvercraft to increase membership was an open house. And we were lucky enough to have the library book sale on the same day, so that helped us out a lot. But yes, these clubs are upbeat. They're doing well. They're growing. There are a couple that are still concerned about their membership, but they're growing too, and they're finding ways to bring new people in. And we're going to struggle probably to have enough space for them as they do grow. That's going to always be an issue, I think. They're concerned about that, of course, but they work with Casey to try to solve any of those issues. So, yeah, it was really good. I've had a couple of phone calls from different people that I've been able to answer. I'll be communicating again with all of our clubs. Maria and I work together with the arts and crafts clubs. I'll be communicating with them again to remind them that they've got scheduling coming up. And so yeah, the workshops, I would recommend to all of the liaisons that you work out some workshops with your clubs, maybe 2 or 3 clubs together, because it really is helpful for them to share information. And on a personal note, I would like to thank Tennis Club and Pickleball and all of those clubs, the Boomers and the Women's Club, for all that they do for our charitable organizations in the community, because we depend on them a lot. I know we help the community, but we depend on them for support. And one other thing, the Railroad Club. If you haven't been in their club room, it's right down the courtyard here, and it is just as fantastic as the actual Railroad Club up at Beardsley Park. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, committee, any questions on the reports? Audience questions on reports? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to Casey. You're up.
All right, thanks, Jack. I'm just making sure to get updated because I made a small change. Just a friendly reminder again that the CR6s are due May 1st at 8 a.m. And it's going to be email scheduling at suncitywest.com. I checked the little vote that I've put out for about 3 months, and it actually went up to 94%. So a few more people after the last chartered club did go on and vote. For those people that, or clubs I should say, that are not comfortable with emailing, a few of them have absolutely reached out to scheduling, and Laura and Donna have worked with them on how to move forward so that they feel that they're successful for the future of that. But one thing I want to remind everybody is with the new RRMPs that have passed, they are current right now. You now only are required 2 general membership meetings at minimum. If you want to do more, you're more than welcome to, but if you feel that your club only needs to do 2, then I just want to put a friendly reminder as you are filling out your CR6s for your general membership meetings. And again, this is pretty repetitive, but I want to also just kind of give Tracy Tanner, everyone talks about Happy Camp. Nobody's talking about the person behind Happy Camp, and that is a staff member. Her name's Tracy Tanner. She did it all by herself this year, and she put in a lot of work. So the clubs that participated with her and worked well with her, I thank you very much. But I really hope you guys appreciate all the work that she put in towards that. And then lastly, I do oversee the performing arts. So Camelot just finished up. It was very successful. That's Theater West. Western Airs has a concert coming up, and it's almost sold out, so there's tickets still available. And Dance Sensations moved theirs back just a little bit, so it's next weekend, and there's still tickets available for that as well. So that's it.
Great. Any questions for Casey? Audience questions for Casey? Okay, great. Carl? Okay, Carl's going to give us an update on club-related budget items, capital items.
Jack, can I also mention a couple updates Casey and I have been working on with a couple clubs?
Sure.
So Casey, myself, Russ Boston, we supported the Wood Shop and the Model Railroad Club in being able to provide them a location for a storage container. And that is a club-funded storage container. So each of those clubs are purchasing it. We're finding the place. And then also Desert Garden Club reached out to Casey and I for a little better representation on their buildings. Properties Committee Kay Williams saw that that during the properties tour that we would like to put, or the club would like to put botanical gardens on the archway on the corner of 128th Avenue and Beardsley. And then also on their gated entrance, the driveway going to the greenhouse, a nice sign that matches all of the rest of the rec center signs. So, and we're supporting them in that. So, other than that, here we are in April, our final round of discussion on proposed capital improvement projects. The only changes that I have to share today are 2. One of them being in the new category. So the last properties committee, we had discussion on the Beardsley Park iron fence and gates, and they felt strongly enough to request $10,000 be added for an additional gate just for the safe evacuation of folks during an event. And based on their unanimous decision, we agreed to add that, and I'll pour a small walkway and add another fence, excuse me. And then also from that committee, the tennis club representatives came and mentioned some desanding issues we were having on the R.H. Johnson facility tennis courts. The committee made an appointment to have myself, Russ Boston, a few other staff members, the tennis facility club, or the tennis club, and properties meet down on the courts. We did do a walk and evaluation of those courts. For some time now, we've been aware of a desanding issue in the paint surface. A little history there is those courts, per manufacturer's recommendation, met their useful life and they could have been restored at that time. But each year, Russ Boston and I do our walks on all capital projects, and we felt that we could extend that, and then we were going to extend it again this year. Within these last few months, though, we have seen that the desanding is just, it's more than we can keep up with in our daily cleaning to keep it safe. So Properties did make a recommendation to include what is already fully funded in the reserve study tool in this year's budget. So $160,000 is being added for the resurfacing of courts 1 through 16. And that's all I've got.
Any questions for Carl from the committee? Nope. Any questions from the audience for Carl? Yeah, please go to the mic, Vinny.
Hi, Vince Tabey is my name, 132340. And the question I have is, when did you get the quotes for the actual work? Now that the money has been approved, do we get quotes, and when does that happen?
So the project is not approved. The recommendations have been heard. The governing board will ultimately approve that project during the budget process. So you'll know if it's fully approved at the end of May. And then after that, I go for bid.
Okay. Great.
And it is a 3-bid process. Best bid.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Carl. Okay, are there any other topics under the new business category that the committee has? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Committee comments. I'll start down here with Judy.
No, I think I talked enough. Thank you.
Okay, Kathy.
No comment.
Connie?
The only thing I want to add to the tennis, Nick and I attended the properties meeting, and it's, in my mind, it's a very strong safety issue. Carl, right? He's saying no. Oh, it's a safety prevention. Okay, anyway. Okay. Well, after attending the meeting, I feel strongly about supporting it.
Okay, thank you. Vicki?
No comment.
Nick?
No, I will just add on the tennis club resurfacing as well, that this is not something that's new. It's something that has already been postponed 1 year, and I understand the plan was to move it out 2 years, but in fact it has been brought back again. It's fully funded, it's in the reserve study. It's not new money. And there's no comments online either so far.
Thank you. Carol?
One thing that I've been asked about several times, and I too have asked this question, even though it really doesn't pertain to this committee, but it pertains to our community, is we consistently encourage people who want to become part of a committee such as this, or people who may have an interest in running for a position, board or otherwise. We encourage them to attend the Torch program. And when I looked into it, after hearing a couple complaints for years and years and years, it's consistently offered at the exact same time. And that the suggestion I've been hearing is maybe they should consider doing it alternating times, whether it's spring and fall, alternating the days, alternating the time of that. But if we're going to encourage our community to attend, we should take into account the availability of that program for everyone.
It's a good idea. There is a torch committee. Off the top of my head, I don't remember who is the chair of that, but that's a great suggestion to send to them. Okay, any questions or comments from the audience? Okay, I will take that as a no, and then I will adjourn the meeting at 1:55 p.m. Thank you very much.